What is a bishop? That's the number one question I get from visitors to my church. They want to know why I'm called a bishop and not a pastor. Well, I explained to them that bishops are always pastors. However, pastors are not always bishops. So what's a pastor versus a bishop? Well, the word pastor is used one time in the New Testament in Ephesians chapter 4. However, the word pastor means shepherd, and that idea of shepherd is used a lot more in the New Testament. And in fact, it's even used in the Old Testament where the priests of Israel were supposed to be shepherds of the flock of Israel. So a shepherd is a person who's watching over the flock of God. He's watching over their souls to make sure they don't get deceived, and he's also feeding them the word of God. So a pastor is one who's watching the flock. So what's a bishop? Well, who's watching the shepherds? Who's watching the pastors? And that's where the bishops come in. They're the ones generally that ordain pastors into the congregation, and they are the overseers of these shepherds who are in turn watching over the flock. And so a bishop will therefore have many different pastors that look to him as their leader or as their bishop, as their overseer. And so that's the big difference between a pastor and a bishop. Now, I should say this, there's two different modern versions of a bishop. There's the Protestant version, like T.D. Jakes, who has many pastors that look to him as their bishop. And that's all a Protestant bishop is just an overseer of pastors. However, in the more traditional sense of bishop, the bishops were actually the successors of the apostles. You see, the apostles ordained different men to take over the church in their absence or when they pass away. And those bishops become the successors of the apostles. And they, in turn, as long as they had one or two other bishops to help them, would ordain other bishops. So bishops are made by other bishops, at least two or three bishops who ordain those bishops to carry on the work of God and to carry on the successive work of the apostles. Well, that's who I am. I'm a bishop under the more traditional sense, where I've been ordained under apostolic succession. And in my case, my lineage is traced to the Apostle Peter. So I'm one of the successors to keep the church guarded and protected from false teaching and to guide the church into green pastures. So I hope I've clarified the difference between a pastor and a bishop.